MSMEs and freelancers, Skydo has secured $5 million in a pre-Series A funding round led by existing investor Elevation Capital. The funds will be used to scale operations and strengthen the platform's risk monitoring and compliance processes. To talk to us about the road ahead, joining me now is its co-founder, Movin Jain. Movin, welcome to Startup Street. Cross-border payment solutions face two major challenges: high transaction costs and long settlement durations. In fact, a study done by Capital Economics says that in 2020 alone, Indian exporters lost over $3 billion to foreign exchange fees. So, Movin, tell us, how are you at Skydo addressing this issue?
Hi, Shruti. Thank you for having me. Indeed, it's a pretty big problem for Indian export businesses to be paying such high fees and losing a significant percentage of their profit margins in payment costs. So that is what we are trying to solve. And how we are solving for it is from a TAT or a turnaround time perspective, we've automated most of the process of moving money from a foreign country into India. So it's as less human dependent as possible. And that's what's creating this improvement in turnaround time and helping these businesses receive money faster. From a cost perspective, we've made the cost completely transparent. Instead of making the FX rates opaque, we've made it completely transparent and easy for people to understand how much they are paying so that they can take an informed decision about which payment service to use. And that's helping these companies control their costs.
All right. So you've automated the processes and made them completely transparent. But, you also claim that Skydo can save up to 80% of Forex transaction costs when dealing with international clients. In fact, you plan to help Indian businesses save $1 billion in Forex fees over the next 3 years. How are you going to do that? And why can't banks and other Forex platforms replicate your model?
Yeah, firstly, how we are going to do that, I think, is pretty simple. We have understood one particular pain point of these export businesses. India's exports are growing. The government wants it to grow. And we have several sectors in which we are experiencing double-digit growth rates. So as we keep building a better and better product and keep improving our cost and turnaround time offering, I think we will continue growing, and we've got very solid growth plans, particularly with this investment that gives us more fuel to put into our growth. I think from a banks and other players' perspective, I think there are quite a few banks and other Forex players that are actually building something similar or trying to solve the same problem. So I think we welcome competition, and we think that quite a few players will actually succeed. It's not a winner-takes-all market, and we actually need competition to be able to inform the customer that this can be done using technology.
Okay.
So I think competition is welcome.
All right. Let's talk about the fundraise now. You plan to use the funds for global expansion, acquire payments licenses across geographies. If you could elaborate on these plans, Movin, and what are the key markets you're looking at?
Definitely. I think we think of ourselves as an India-first company, and hence we will first look at markets that are important from an Indian exports point of view, which is the US by a huge margin, followed by UK, Europe, Canada, Australia, Singapore. So these are some of the key countries in which we are thinking of expansion. Accordingly, in the same countries, we're also thinking of being regulated and setting up offices so that we could be a regulated company in those countries and move money for Indian exporters seamlessly.
Okay. You currently process payments for over 6,000 Indian SMB exporters and have processed payments worth over $100 million since inception. What kind of revenues are you seeing? Are you making money per transaction? And what is the road to profitability looking like?
Yes, we do make money per transaction. That's one of the positive things about this business, that it's a high gross margin business. Take rates do tend to be low in payments. So our take rate is below 1%, and with a $100 million total payments processed, we can approximate the revenue. But I think it's still pretty small for us to think that we've succeeded. I think there's a long way to go. I think over time, as we keep growing, our margins will also keep improving. So the road to profitability is not going to be a very difficult one. We expect that if we continue at the current growth rate, then in the next 1.5 to 2 years, we will be profitable. That's not the key agenda right now. I think we see a lot of growth ahead of us.
Okay. You're also aiming to process payments of over $750 million by 2025. What makes you bullish, Movin, and where do you think the next big opportunity lies for you?
I think what makes us bullish is just the last couple of years of success, and we've more than 10x our volumes in the last 1 year. So we feel that another 5 to 6x growth in the next 1 year is not something that's extraordinary.
Okay.
I think we do see a lot of opportunity in growing services exports, growing e-commerce exports, and also the government's focus in incentivizing and supporting exporters.
All right. One final question, if you could quickly answer that. You operate under the RBI's online payment gateway service provider framework. Skydo has also applied for the cross-border payment aggregator license from the RBI. What is the update there?
So, as you said, we currently operate under the previous framework. Now it's been replaced by the new cross-border payment aggregator framework. The deadline for people like us, companies like us to apply was April. We've applied well in time, and we are one of the companies that's now anxiously awaiting RBI's decision on that. So we've had a few conversations with the regulator about it, but it's anybody's guess when the final decision will be made. Fingers crossed.
All right. With that, it's time for me to wrap up our conversation. Movin, many thanks for joining us on Startup Street today and wish you the very best.
Thanks, Shruti.
Moving on, it's time for us to head into a short break. Coming up next, electronic waste and battery recycling startup Attero has marked its foray into the D2C space. A special report on its latest offering, Sell Smart, on the other side. Stay tuned.